welcome. I thought I wasn't gonna come on. I'm like, yeah, you should have seen me in the beginning. I really tried Zooming these shows and casting on my TV and taping, and the Wi-Fi can't take all of that drama.
Right. Right.
So I was so happy when, StreamYard was suggested, because once I came on board, it just saved my whole world.
Oh, good. Good. Good.
So everyone, welcome Deborah Hookie, who I talk about all the time. I recommend everyone to you, Deborah. What I can't do, you do. And what you do is beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. Well,
most of my clients have come back to me. Go ahead.
It's God's work.
It's
like
God's
right?
work. It really is, because I tell people all the time, I didn't say it.
Right.
Your spirit guides talk to my spirit guides, and then my spirit guides tell me what to say.
Right. Right. Right.
I wish I could take credit. God takes credit. I can't.
Exactly.
And people always say to me, you're good. You're good. And I go, okay, it's not me. I stop it right away. But not that people shouldn't give compliments. People need to give compliments.
Right.
How you respond is the right way to respond.
That's right. Right. I agree.
That way you're not turning into some, egotistical reality show,
right.
medium,
There's a lot out there.
People in the 7-Eleven. I know. I don't like that. Okay, let's start over.
Okay.
Everyone, this is Deborah Hookie. Deborah Hookie. I talk about Deborah Hookie so much. Oh my God. I love you, Deborah.
Oh, vice versa. You'll make me blush, but my lighting doesn't put the redness in my face. We're good.
It's perfect. It's perfect. We can't see any red flowing through your cheeks. But I know how much you love me, first of all.
Good.
You have shown me your spiritual love in particular, because when you and I used to have talks, you treated me exactly the way you were supposed to.
Yes.
My black ass fought back.
No, yes, he did.
But one thing about you, Deborah, you never stopped giving me the one directed advice. It was like you weren't all over the place trying to boss me around. You weren't even trying to boss me around, but you're like, Tracy. But you already know this, Tracy.
I remember because you said, okay, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay. So I backed off for a little while.
Yeah, you did.
I believed in you. That's it. You just have to.
It was really hard though. So Deborah's a medium. We used to work together out of the Green Man store. Mm-hmm. I was attracted immediately to Deborah. Now that's energy, guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When you know this is your soulmate, in terms of, for us, it's spiritual soulmates. Like, you're right people. I've met other mediums. Mm-hmm. I don't talk to them.
Yeah. Well, probably because we're both a little crazy, and we have fun. That's the number. That's important too. And there's a serious side, but we always had fun, didn't we?
It's a fun part. We
were
always cracking up in your room.
Yeah.
We knew when other people were crazy.
Right. I remember
always on the same.
I remember you told me
always on the same page.
Yeah, you used to tell me in the room that I was, well, not many people stay here that long. Do you remember? You told me that.
I told you that room was not the room to go into.
I know. No. But it was all right. It didn't bother me. Things like that don't really
Listen,
bother me.
but what I've noticed is that the last girl that had the room, she went batshit crazy, but I think she was already crazy, first of all.
I think so. I think so.
I think she went back like to she was the she was kind of like a cowboy witch, kind of.
Okay. Yeah.
She had a little bit of everything in her.
Right. Right.
But everyone that went in that room, when they were in the first room, remember the room that I was in was labeled number 1. I started out number 2.
Right.
Labeled the safest room is 2.
Right. Because they had what?
3,
6
I think,
rooms?
are the safest rooms.
Right.
Yeah.
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 It was a quite interesting place.
But that room that.
But you know what? I'm grateful because I would have never met you. Right?
We met each other there. I actually love the Green Man store. I tell everybody it's a pagan store, full-on Christian. My room was the Jesus room. I fought tooth and nail to keep Jesus alive. Jesus alive.
I'm telling you, you did. I know that. I'll testify.
I fought. You were there.
I know you did.
You were there. Jason was there.
Right.
I fought tooth and like no one was going to take my Jesus away.
Oh my goodness! No
and then
way.
Remember, I had to share the room, so they covered up Jesus and they turned certain things face down. I was dying. I was like, but in the end, my Jesus, he stayed in that room. And then remember, we had to spray all the negative energy out.
The things
Y'all don't even know. The psychic world is a mess.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think we are in our own little world though, you know? So, you know, with whatever energies kind of, whether they agreed with us or not, you know, whether we had to push some energy away or whatnot, you know? So it was quite an interesting, it was actually, I enjoyed it actually. I mean, you know, after you left, it was a lot different. The energy definitely shifted a lot, you know?
For the better or for the worse?
I think for the worse. It was just, it was quiet too. Not to say that you were loud, but I mean, it was very quiet and it was just not that same energy anymore. Do you know what I mean?
I brought life to the upstairs. I
agree.
I brought excitement. I brought arguments. You know, I would tell another psychic, bitch, shut up.
Yeah. You did. You did. Oh my. That was hilarious.
And we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. It was an experience. And by the way, even in my own house, I'm by myself in my own house. I will not change my personality.
Yeah, why should you? Yeah, people have to accept you for who you are.
That brings me to a question.
Uh-oh.
Deborah.
Yes. Wait, we have to be serious now? Okay. Yes.
Yes. Who are you?
Oh my God! Isn't there a song by the Who singing that song? Who are you? Just kidding. Look at her like
now you're gonna make me look it up.
So I am a medium. I'm also a psychic. So I have been studying or being a medium for over, God, let's see, my daughter is 31, so maybe over 25 years I've been doing this work. Studying, right. I do feel like if not many people know what a medium is a medium connects to the spirit world, and so I do connect to the spirit world. And I'm also a psychic. I'm going to say that because in order to be a medium, you still have to learn how to connect with all your clairs and whatever you're feeling energy-wise. And so I do both. What is my passion? Mediumship. It's it's healing people, helping people. It's not really healing, but it's giving them a start to heal, you know? Yeah, because a lot of people, a lot of, like, I read for somebody last night, and sometimes I have to kind of just get myself together because, you know, I'm a human. I'm always going to be a human. And just because I connect to spirit doesn't mean that I still don't have the emotion. But usually when I do a reading, I try to hold back that emotion because otherwise it's going to get in your way. And her husband died of the coronavirus maybe about a month and a half ago. And she was telling me that they had their cousins come over, and they weren't, they had a good time, and they weren't aware that her cousin called them the next day, said that they had the virus that they got from a friend. And so she got it, the wife got it, she had it for 3 days, and the husband died within 7 days at home. And I mean, she has to be in her maybe mid-30s, and they have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And, you know, so as soon as I brought him in, that was the first, I told you there's a male here, and everything that I was saying, I mean, and it just broke your heart because, you know, here she was just, I mean, bawling because, and everything, she said, everything I said, you sounded just like my husband, every word, because sometimes they speak through you. And, you know, and I don't really, for me, when I'm connecting to spirit, it's not like I'm physically hearing it with my ears. That's usually how it was in the beginning, but now it's whatever spirit's telling me. It just comes out. It just kind of, I just trust my guides and I trust spirit, and it just all those words that they need to hear. And as a medium, when you're a medium, my job is to give them evidential information that they only know about their loved ones, that I don't know anything. So I don't just say, okay, you know, your loved ones are okay, because that's not, as a medium, that's not good enough. You have to give them evidential information that they know that is their loved one, and they can validate it. And that's part of being a medium, to validate it, you know? So, and for that poor girl, I mean, it was just very, I mean, just to hear somebody so young, and now she has to start her whole life over. And she said it was my soulmate. I mean, it broke my heart afterwards. Like, I prayed for him, you know, I really prayed for him, because it's kind of like, you know, we don't know how lucky we are. And with this pandemic, we just don't, it's kind of like a hit and miss, you know? And so, but as a medium, again, my job is to help them. I mean, you're also kind of like a counselor, so to speak, because you want to help them understand this, right? And she kept asking why, you know? And again, I'm not God.
That's a difficult question,
right?
You know, and let me help you with that.
Okay.
One, the why is emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a question to be answered.
Right.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just their way of like crying with words.
Yeah. Yeah. She wanted to know why he didn't ask for help, you know, and that's what she wanted. But he answered. He told her that he thought he was going to be okay. He thought that he was going to be able. He didn't think this was going to be a big deal.
I believe
but
him.
And it just kept kept getting worse. But he thought that he was just getting the worst of it, and then was going to get better. But she's the one who found him. And then she asked me, well, and they always try to test you. They try to test you. She says, well, do you think he died in the hospital, at home? But I already knew he died at home. They already told me. He already told me. I go, he died at home, and I can tell you where. And then she looked at me and she says, yeah, you're right. You know? So, but you know, some of them always want to test you, you know, and, you know, so, and some people
let me
say,
pause for a minute.
Yeah.
Let me pause for a minute. When Deborah says some people try to some people try to test you, it's you, the client, think that we're not gifted. And then you ask questions that you already know.
Right.
And then when we answer it, you're like, you're good. No. We're doing our job. Like we're stepped in to our soul's responsibility for you. So try not to test us. We don't have time for it.
Well, I mean, it honestly,
Go ahead,
I don't mind, because I think that sometimes they just want to know that that's their loved one, and it's okay. I mean, everybody's on their own journey, and however they're willing to deal with the passing. I mean, it is a journey. We all know it's somebody we lose a loved one, how hard it is, you know?
Yeah.
So cute. Thank you. But I do feel like, you know, that they come to us for help, and that's why we're there to help, you know. And
so
you know.
I got a question for you. When did this begin? Like when did it begin? When did you know? Because that's two different things. Like, when did it begin? And when did you know that it was a thing that you were not to be feared, I guess? And then when did you move into that space? And who encouraged you?
Well, I'll tell you, years ago, when I was married, or in our married days, my husband and I were into Sylvia Brown. Remember Sylvia Brown? Right?
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
really
too.
into it, right? It was the only one around, right? That was open.
She was the only one.
Right. Love you, Tiffany.
The only one.
Yeah.
It was her
right.
visually, and before her, I had Linda Goodman's sun signs.
I never heard of that. Right, him or her.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have it now. Linda Goodman's sun sign is, I try to keep all my books together. She is teaches you everything about all the horoscope signs.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, being Black, I had nothing.
Right.
So I had Linda Goodman's sun sign. I read that book from finish to end. They tell you about, you know, a Leo boss, a Capricorn female, a Pisces child. I read it back, front, and backwards. It was the only thing I had growing up.
Right.
Until Sylvia Brown showed up.
Yeah, she was quite interesting, and so that we used to watch that on a regular basis. Remember, she was on Montel all the time, right? And so
every Wednesday, yeah,
that's right. And so then after that, I was going through a difficult time in my marriage. My husband came out of the closet after so many years of marriage, right? And so it was kind of like,
let me say, I'm proud of him for coming out, but I'm sorry it was in the middle of the marriage.
Yeah, well, we were married for about 15, 16 years, I think. And we had two little ones, and it took a long time to get divorced, about 5 years, spent about $100,000 to get divorced. And
it's ridiculous.
Well, and it was about more like, for me, it was keeping my house for my kids. You know, you wanted to keep everything what you had for your kids. And for him, it was like him coming out of the closet, and like you had to accept it no matter what. That was just as simple as that, you know? So, and which, I mean, now we're really good friends now, so it doesn't really matter. I always thank him, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be here. You know, because of some of his choices.
What happened? How did he influence you?
Well, because I started to go to the spiritualist church in Long Beach, California, and my friend, my 70-year-old friend, he was one of my salesmen for the company that I worked with. He says, "Oh, Deborah, I go to this church, and she gives me readings. You know, we're sitting on a pew, and she's giving us readings." And I said, "Well, Bob, you're Catholic." He goes, "Oh," he was funny. "Oh, I'm Catholic on Sunday, on Thursday, I'm not." That was his favorite line, right? So I went with him. That was the first time I went. I remember taking one of my friends with me, and we're sitting there, and we didn't know what to expect. And this medium, which she was my mentor for many years, she came to me and she was telling me about my grandfather, and she was right on. And then she was telling me what was going on in my life right at that moment. And I said, I looked at her like, I'm thinking in my head, like, so, you know, I'm not going to cuss over here, but I'm going to just cuss. I said, shit, oh my God, how does she know all this, right? And so I remember going home, driving in the car, thinking like, okay, who's in the car with me right now? Who's in the car with me right now, you know?
Right.
So, and then after that, I started going on a regular basis, and she wasn't charging a lot. She was just charging maybe just to go in there. And not everybody got a message, but you could sit in there, and just listening to those messages was really healing, you know? And so that was my way of, actually, for me, to me, I could say that that saved my life, my sanity, because I enjoyed listening to some of the, sometimes I didn't even get a message, but to be in that, it was beautiful just to be in that energy, you know, and it actually helped me. And then after that, then I started taking classes from her, and I was with her for 5 years, and I came every Monday, and she taught me about, she used to kind of babysit my kids. She used to do remote viewing, and she would tell me my kids are all right, you know? And so I would say the first 2 years of learning from her, it was about healing for myself, because how can you help people if you don't love yourself, you know? And so and that really made a difference, because she really taught me to work on myself. And, you know, I mean, we have a lot of healers, a lot of psychics out there that they don't think about that. They just, it's kind of like having a sick doctor work on you, so to speak, right? Right. So,
you know, it's funny you should say that. Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I do a radio podcast on Saturdays, and I forgot which part it got to, but it had something to do with positive and negative energy. And I was like, you know, I would prefer if people would be positive and say nice things to yourself first. Practice. You say it to you first, because if you practice on yourself, the words will come out more fluid. You'll want it to come out more fluid, because every time you speak positivity, like the aura brightens up, and like your throat, you know, your heart, your chakra, you know, your mind. And so I said the same thing, like, you can't love yourself, and that's what you just said too.
Yeah, and I had to learn that, because and sometimes, I mean, I'm human. We all have our faults and whatnot. And sometimes in our life, let's face it, we get to a point a little bit, and we get a little down, and then and nobody else can bring you up. You're the only one who can bring you up. You may think that maybe Tom over there is going to be the one who helps you, but really at the end of the day, it's yourself. So, and that's, you know, that's what we do on a regular basis every day. Of course, you know, like even for Tracey and I, we both probably do the same thing for a lot of people, and try to make them the best person possible, to help them be the best person possible. That's the way I look at it, you know, because it's pretty important, you know? I think that in our work, or even as a medium, a lot of times, the client sometimes wants you to make that decision for them. And most of my clients know that I will never make a decision, because it still has to be up to them, you know, because they're the ones living that life. We're not, you know. So after I'm done with a reading, I pretty much push all that energy back to them, and I let go, and I don't hold on to anything, because that will affect you.
Nothing. It's so funny, because when I hang up the phone, right, my hands are up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like this. I've given you every tool to handle your situation. Every tool. Like, nothing's left undone. And they usually come back later, and they go, "You remember me?" And I go, "You remember my story?" And I go, "Hey, let's try it a different way. Repeat your story." Because like, that's not my job. My job is to remember your story. It's too much.
It would be too much. It would be like you would be exploding or something, right?
But once they tell me, once they just go into it, I go, oh my God, what happened? It's like,
Yeah.
but the expectation for me to know, is like, no.
Yeah.
First of all, you're one of the gifts that is astounding to me. Being a medium is astounding to me. So, do you see? Do you hear? Do you feel?
When I first
What's on
started,
your clear?
I used to just hear. But as you keep working, I mean, I've seen some great mediums that just are clairvoyant and they just see, and they're pretty amazing. So, but for me, I have all the clairs, but I had to work on it. It wasn't like you get them all at once. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It means that to me, it means that my guides are going to tell me what I'm really ready for. If I'm ready to hear, fine. If I'm ready to see, that's fine. But I can hear, see, feel. I have tasting. I have all the clairs, but I'm not going to say that they're all equal, that they're all just as strong. My clairaudience is very, very strong. I do see very well and feel. I would say those are the three biggest ones for me. So, but like I said, not everybody is the same. It takes time. So, because I do teach classes, I always try to tell everybody, I used to have a friend that said, oh my God, I just want to see, I want to see it. And that's all she kept saying. And I say, well, it just, you got to work on it first of all. And it takes time. It just doesn't happen because somebody snaps a finger and you're like, oh, I can do this now. It doesn't work that way. So it has to be where you're at, what you're ready for.
I like to tell people it's like being a 3-year-old gymnast.
Mm-hmm.
What you see at the Olympics started at 3.
Right, exactly. That's true. That's
and
a good way.
Look how many years it took. Yeah, I like to give them good examples, But what I love about you, Deborah, and you're going to hear me say I love you throughout because you are absolutely one of my fab favorite people. When Deborah came to the Green Man store, everyone, I really feel like it was because of you that I was pushed further. Sometimes you think you're really, really good.
Yeah.
And your shit doesn't stink.
Right.
And I was a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Until I met you.
You still are badass.
And then I was like, well, goddamn. Well, but there's more to being a badass. Like, you know what I mean? And then I met you and I was like, and you were so kind. You kept saying, you could do it. You could do it. I was like, okay. But ultimately, I think I had already left the store when you were giving classes in the hood.
Yeah, I was doing that for a couple of years. Yes. Yeah. And actually, I'm still close with all of them, even Reverend Timmy. Yeah. I'm still close with. She still comes to my classes online.
Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love her. So that's good for her because she seems actually very, very. She seems like a detailed, like psychic or medium. Like I feel like she could go deep. I think she's learning to go deep. When I met her, it looks like she was.
When I first met her, and she came in there, and of course I'm white. You guys could see that I'm white. Okay.
Oh wait, hold on, Deborah.
Yeah.
Deborah was doing classes, I believe, forgive me, in the worst part of the hood.
Oh yeah, it was not a good area at all.
Late at night, the lights were out, by 5 o'clock, there's no sun. You're not even getting there safely. You know what was interesting though, before you finish, Deborah? You know how good God was? In the middle of the street was a freaking taco stand.
Yeah. Remember?
How hilarious is that?
Yeah.
But how hilarious that there was an angel watching us get out the cars, us get in our cars, watching our cars while we were in session.
Right. Nothing ever happened. Nothing.
Back this way, that way, there was nothing. There's this little taco stand.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that if it wasn't God?
Yeah, really, because it was not in a good area, not at all. So no.
When I drove there for the first time, I was like, really, Deborah? Really? God.
Only me would do that. But you know what? It was about she was so gracious, and she allowed me to use her church because her dad was he was a medium, and he was the pastor of that church. And for her, she was trying to find other avenues to have other people come in there, and she was kind of a little bit done with the place as well. Like she, you know, it was left to her, but it wasn't like she really wanted it a lot. You know what I mean? It was just hard. And
I got it. But I could feel that. I could feel all of that. But
yeah,
she was very protective of the church. So there was
even when I met her, she says, "Well, you know, us." She said, "Us black people, you know how we all like psychic readings." That's what she said. And then I had to tell her, "Well, this is not really psychic; it's really more mediumship." Right? That's what I told her. And so for a while, she was like this for a little while, very distant to me. But then when I kept telling her, because I always believe in helping everybody, I always told her, Reverend Timmy, whenever you need me, I still tell her, you can always call on me. If you need to do a fundraiser or do anything, I will help you. Whatever it takes, I will help you no matter what. Yeah, because this is a woman that worked in that church. And people would come to the door, and if she had clothes, she would give them the clothes. I mean, that's how good woman she was. And not that her life was the easiest, because I don't feel like it was easiest. So from there, we created a relationship. And like I've read for many of her pastors that come visit. I had a man that came in, and he was from Chicago, and she didn't want to tell me she didn't tell me anything about him, right? And when I sat with him, I mean, we had the best time, of course, because I like to joke around with everybody, but we had the best time. And I don't know how many people I brought in. I brought in a lot of people, but he was so grateful, you know, and then I talked to him for a while, you know, because I always like to ask questions and find out about them afterwards, you know. And but she trusts me with them, and that to me means more than you will ever know. You know, and I'm honored when somebody comes to me, just like you, Tracy, I'm honored because that means a lot to me, you know, to my heart, because if people can trust you like that, that's a pretty awesome thing. You know, it really is an awesome thing. And it doesn't matter what color we are. We're just people, you know, and it's all about love.
You know, I feel bad for people that can't get there, especially in the era that we're in now. At least, you know, 5 years ago, racism, of course, was there, but at least it was under the table. Now, it's terrible. So loud. So, you know, but thank God for the spiritual world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I tell everyone, the spiritual world will change the game.
Mm-hmm. It definitely will. It's a totally... It's opening your heart.
Yeah. And thank God, like, isn't it like being pronounced more at just the right time, spirituality?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I mean, yeah, we're all more out here in the open. We're more out in the public, but we're still doing the work that we're supposed to do. And that's, you know, I mean, yeah, we make money, we got to eat, we got to drink, we got to have, you know, our essentials.
I have no guilt. About making money. None.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's about who you're helping and how you're helping. And, you know, I mean, I used to work at a psychic hotline. Okay. And I used to work, I forget what it was called, Psychic Source. So I started with, they charge you like 99 cents a minute, the people, to like $9.99 or $10, right? And you don't even get that much. I mean, as a psychic, you don't really get that much. So when I first started, I started at 99 cents a minute, and I ended up at $10 a minute. But when I was at $10 a minute, I was trying to tell those callers, look, you don't have to call me every week, because they're charging their credit card up to the yin yang, right? I felt so guilty, right? I said, you shouldn't have to call me every week for this. There's some of this you have to take personal responsibility. You know, I mean, don't use this where all your money is going to take up to because you're calling a psychic. That's crazy, you know, because we all have to be responsible for ourselves, you know, and I can't be their crutch. I don't want to be their crutch. You know, I want to see that they evolve, you know, and that, like, that's when I'm the proud mama at seeing that, you know. So I just read for somebody who went to that, we went to that church where Reverend Timmy was. I read for her friend, and this is what her friend told me. You know what? Every time I talk to her, name was Ramona, she goes, I see how much she's changed since she's worked with you and the readings that you give. And that to me is more of a blessing than anything, right? Because then I know that whatever God wants is happening, you know. So so that's always nice to hear, you know, from somebody else, from a third person.
I've sent people to you.
I know you have. I know
their personality is subdued.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing what your psychic medium, it's either mediumship classes or psychic classes, like what those classes can do. But you know, I know, Deborah, I know because I took your classes pre-Zoom. I went to the church.
Yeah, you did. You sure did.
So I know what you infuse for change. And let me tell you something, everyone. I was so concerned about reading not as a medium. I never claimed to be a medium, but I was so worried about reading when someone's family has passed over that spiritually I'd be like, don't give them to me. Don't give them to me. After taking Deborah's classes, not only is it fluid now, I'm not afraid. Like, before, I used to after I took your classes, I used to tell people, if it's about somebody that's passed over, you have to tell me, you have to prep for it. Now I'm like, how can I help you? My grandma died. Oh, let's check it. But that's because you allowed me to be me. You believed that I had the potential to be higher than I thought, and not because I'm a psychic, but you know how to do that with people, bring them to the next level and the next level until they're calm, until they believe in the spirit. Because I think I talk too much, right? But I think the spirituality world, when you don't know it, makes you crazy. People make you think you're crazy, and you're wired differently, which means you look crazy. When you're around someone that goes, oh, no, that's normal. And you're like, what? Oh, yeah, it's absolutely normal. Da, 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 da. And you go on and on. All of a sudden, what comes down is, oh, my God, like, this is okay to be this. And now I can manage the thoughts inside my head. Like, they're real, and I can actually listen to my gut, to my head. Da, 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 da. Or I can believe what I see. Like, if it's visual, I can believe what I see.
Right.
And I think you teach that because I'm one of your, examples. Like, I just can testify how much I have changed by taking one of your classes. Let me show you what I have. I don't know if you get to do this in your Zoom anymore, but let me show you what I have. First of all, I get rid of nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing leaves my presence. I don't even know where I got this frame from, but now I need a new frame. And it's a little dusty. But I got this from your class. Let me see something.
Is that one? What is that? Okay.
Well, as it turned out, this was when you had a piece of paper and a candle.
Oh, is that what you made? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's trippy.
Now, thank you. Now, I don't know if you asked us. I don't know if it's a question, and the question had to relate to somehow the paper. This is actually Jesus. This is the original Jesus with bushy hair.
Oh, wow.
Do you know that guy?
Right.
the Mediterranean Jesus. Let me see something. Jesus. He's the Mediterranean Jesus.
Oh wow!
Jesus
Look at that. You can see
with
that. That's interesting.
the. Can you see it now?
I can see it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Bushy. Yeah. I'm gonna. Oh, this is him. This is the original Jesus. This is how Jesus should have looked before they whitewashed him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
now, can you see the hair?
Oh yeah,
The
definitely.
beard?
Look at that. Even I feel like it's where. Yeah. Very cool. Isn't that interesting?
Thank
So
you.
you know, when I do classes, if people ask me ahead of time, hey, what are we doing in class? And I'll say, well, I don't know. My guides haven't told me yet. So, you know, sometimes I say, hell if I know. We'll have to see what the guides are telling me what to do. And it's always a good class. So, you know, so, but yeah, that's very interesting. A lot of times when we do that, we go into meditation, and it has to be special paper that you don't burn, of course. And you literally letting spirit talk to you, like spirit's allowing you to, they're helping you with however you're literally moving the paper basically over a fire. And that's what happens. So, you know, or, you know, sometimes we did catch a table on fire at one place before, but you know, that's all, that's part of all the fun. Just pour water over it. It'll get,
I wouldn't even get rid of it. That's how much I loved it.
Right. That's
and
beautiful.
let me tell you something. Whenever this is the newest thing I'll be traveling with, the frame is not important. I could care less about the frame, but which I might have to get rid of the frame. Even though, isn't this a beautiful frame?
I think it's a beautiful frame. I don't think you should get it.
Well, if I move, it's hard to package this in my carry-on.
Right.
So I always believe I can get another frame. I'm never worried. But in any case, there's a move coming up, and so I carry everything special to me.
Well, so you're moving? You're moving from your place?
So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Washington.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But I carry everything precious to me, Jesus related.
Oh, very cool. Right.
Everything.
Right.
You know, like literally, whenever I move, literally carry it. So
that's cool. That's important too.
I'll be carrying that.
Yeah.
I'll be carrying that too. I love that. Like, it reminds me of your class, and it reminds me that you took me someplace else beyond, you know, getting stuck at just psychic. You pushed me, and I love that.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, everything that we do is about energy. So it's up to us if we want to shift something, and for you to come to class, because remember you said, I'm going to come. It shifts that energy. And so when you shift, things start changing, right? You're not in that same place. Because if we do the same thing, same time, every single time, then what energy are we really shifting? We're not shifting anything. So sometimes we have to change things in order for things to start changing.
Yeah. Well, it made a big difference, that shift in taking that class.
Yeah.
It just, it opened so much up. The shift, it opened so much up. And, you know, my prayer, because I know that you give classes, my prayer is that people allow themselves some sense of shiftability. Because in this COVID world, in this 2021, which is the year of change, right? We're going to have to go with the flow. So shifting, I think, is like mandated. You're not going to be able to go, I don't want to. It's like, all right, I'll take a leap of faith. And the leap of faith could be taking one of Deborah's classes.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun. We always have fun. What was that?
Yeah. Talk about shifting and positive energy, and how spirits and God and Jesus, and your angel guys and the universe pays you back. how does the universe, I'm not asking you a question,
Mhm.
you're going to be the example.
Okay.
How does the universe pay you back when you're giving of yourself and you are changing people and people are coming to you and saying, my God, thank you for you, Deborah. What does the universe do when something happens to you?
Well, I'm going to tell you, like for me, I don't receive very well because for me, I like to help a lot of people. And I don't, it's, for me, it's easier to
Sit back
give
and receive,
than to
though.
receive. But I've been working on that. I'm saying, because sometimes when we're not receiving, we're blocking everybody's energy. So people want to give to you, they want to help
Yes.
you know, and then we're kind of blocking them, you know.
No.
So
No
so
more.
I've done much better. I still think that I still have some work to do, but I'm probably I'm always honest because I just know how I am. But I mean, I think that I've been blessed with my family, with my children, with what's gone on in their lives. For me, I mean, for the people that I have in my lives, a lot of my clients actually turn out to be my friends. They're still my clients, but I still have relationships with them further than that. I think that I'm very blessed to have such a great, even my classes, most of the students, I know exactly who they are. I can read them from, of course, when I'm teaching, but I think that I'm blessed. And I mean, God has given me so much that I feel like I'm the lucky one, you know. And like even the gift of connecting to spirit. Like I always tell people when somebody passes and, you know, you think that it's over, but it's just the beginning. You know, it's just that love that is, it's all that love that is still there. Love is forever. Love, just because somebody passes doesn't mean that love is over. So, I mean, again, I think that in many ways, I mean, of course we have things happening in our lives and sometimes you kind of wonder, but you know, then I have to kind of get myself out of it. Like whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm going through, like sometimes I have to like slap myself in the face, not physically. Okay, guys, but sometimes we get in our little way. And then I think like, why am I like this? Like, is it somebody's energy affecting me? Is it my energy? Why? And then I work on that, and that's how I figure it out. So, you know, again, I think that I'm blessed by, I have a roof over my head. I mean, we all say that, but I mean, truthfully, it could be a lot worse. Like we see a lot of those homeless people around, and some of them had lives, right? They had really, really good lives, and they lost everything. And that could always happen to anybody at a second. You know that, right? So that's why I always believe in being kind, even to anybody. You know, I mean, you know, if you can be kind to a person and make them smile, of course, with the mask is a little hard, but if you can be kind to people, it doesn't cost you anything to be kind.
You can smile with the eyes. You can smile with the eyes. I would say even in a mask, smile anyway, because even your eyes, learning this from Tyra Banks.
Sometimes, not all the time. But I feel like with this pandemic, with the mask, people are not as friendly as they were before. I think there was a lot of angry and a lot of hurt people out there, and they're not as kind, you know? So
you know, it's funny you should say that. So it might be geographical, because I found them to be very kind in the hood.
Well, I was listening. I was with my son, because I've been with my son for, especially with this coronavirus, and he lives in a very high-rise, prominent building in LA. Okay, and the 10,000 building is a very exclusive, very expensive. And let me tell you, a lot of those people were not the most friendliest people. You know, so looking at them, it's like they have everything. You see all the Rolls Royces, you know, every car you can ever imagine. Butlers, valets bringing your car, and I would have to say that was not my kind of people.
My dream world.
Yeah, it was not my kind of people, because they were not nice.
That's why I love you.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, I'm all for the nice things in life. I love, I love not bringing up my own groceries. Okay. I mean, I didn't have to park my car anywhere. They brought everything up to, that was great.
That's my dream world.
Yeah. But I'm a people person. I love people. And I don't care what walk of life you come from. I love people, and people is what I resonate with.
But I have to say, because I know Deborah, and so you've lived with your son for about a year.
Yeah, a little less than a year. Yeah,
a little less than a year. So it was really after the COVID.
It was literally right, like July of last year.
Oh, that's 6 months ago, basically.
Yeah, so I'm gone now again. So yeah. I left him.
So you're not there anymore?
No, because this apartment's like a 1,600 square foot apartment, and he has a personal assistant, a chef, his worker. It's just too many people, This kid is.
Dad, tell your son, let me move in. This person is scared.
Take it for granted. He's 26 going on 80, but he's been going on 80 for a long, long time. Ever since we've had this relationship, me and my son, and he's been buying cars since he was the age of 12, talked me into buying him cars. And I mean, it's always been this, I mean, I could write a book on the adventures. Yeah.
Two things I was going to say. There's no accidents when God put you in an affluent neighborhood to see what you saw.
Right, exactly.
Deborah, you're white.
Yeah.
You get to speak to whites.
Yeah.
You get to represent that part of the spirituality that is like, yeah, that's not me, but maybe you needed to see that it's really real out there. How angry people can be during the COVID.
Yeah, but you have to remember, before, when I was learning all this, I mean, I'm from the South Bay. I used to take classes in Long Beach. It's diversified over there in Long Beach, no matter what. The school that I went to in high school, it was all mixed. It wasn't about only a white community. It was everything.
No, I think you're misinterpreting what I'm saying. I'm saying you were at where you were at because of the COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
You're supposed to have that experience to see how bad people act.
That's true.
Certain categories of influence.
Right.
During the COVID. Because I know. I'm in LA with you. I know.
There were. I'm telling you, there's big influencers there. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And moving forward, what I love about the COVID, though, is that COVID takes everyone down notches, not a little notch. So all those big influencers, especially if they were filmmakers or Hollywood producers, they're not working either. Right now.
That's right. They're hurting.
So
that's right.
They've got concerns with all their affluence. They've got concerns. And good, because it's taken us all to something different. Affluence is one lesson. I'm a different lesson. You're a different lesson. But you know what's going to come out of this? How we can all speak to one another. How spirituality is gonna win. But I think sometimes you got to be put in a place to be like, Deborah, let me show you what's really going on. To then come out of it and be like, maybe not today, maybe a year from now, to be like, dude, don't do that.
That's
I don't know. I'm just saying. But I can see you being the one to say something.
Yeah. Well, I actually moved from South County. I was living in Laguna Niguel. I was from Huntington Beach to Laguna Niguel. Totally different from going all the way to LA, right? Complete difference.
Yeah, I know.
During the COVID, it was completely a different, let's say it, we all live different lives now. It's not the same, right? It's all different. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Yeah.
What's going on with COVID? I'm sad that in order for all of us to learn, people have to die.
Yeah.
That makes me sad. But I tell everyone COVID is God. So the decisions on, eeny, meeny, miny, who, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
like the client that you had is like, oh my God. Like you can't, like you can't have people over to visit. And
Yeah.
even my grandson, he called me the other day in the middle of a Zoom and he was like, hey, Doria, come over. And I was like, hey, babe, it's the COVID. So no,
Yeah. Breaks your heart.
no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's around his grandmother, his mother, and his grandfather. I don't know what they're doing.
Right.
I want to
Right.
see my grandson, but it's
Yeah.
the middle of the COVID. I have not seen my special needs sister. I saw her Christmas outside
Oh wow.
on the
Wow. You haven't
stoop,
seen her
on the
that long.
steps
Oh.
since Christmas.
Oh wow.
I used to see her once a week.
I know you did. I know you did. Wow.
You remember?
I know. I know.
No. But I refuse to see her too. I'm like, Tony, it's the COVID. And she's got 6 people taking care of her.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
I'm like, listen, so now I replace seeing her. I mail things to her
Oh
constantly.
good.
So she's happy. But getting back to your son,
Yeah. Yeah.
tell me what happened to your son and
So
how
the beginning.
spirit takes care of.
So so as I said, my son is 26 going on 80. When he was 12, I had said the same thing because he has a very old soul. So he's a different kind of kid. He's kind of a genius, but loves to live life. And on February 1st, I was actually doing a reading, and he always, I don't know why, when I was there, he always wants to have a conversation when I'm doing a reading, okay? And he was just telling me that he's going to take, he has 2 Mercedes, he has a Mercedes, but he has 2 Ducatis, I mean, the bikes. And his new one, he wanted to just take it out for a spin because, it's not going to start because of the fuel injection, right? So he said, Mom, I'll be right back. So he was just taking his bike out, driving in, I think he was in Beverly Hills, just driving. He was just right down the street driving and on his motorcycle, and he was going through the green light. It was a green light, and a minivan decides to make a left. She thought that she was going to make it. She made a left right in front of him. And so he had to make a decision. Either he was going to slide into her or he was going to hit her directly. Now, this is my son's second motorcycle. He was in a motorcycle accident. His first accident, he was burned so badly because of the, the muffler on top of his skin that he didn't want that to happen again because that was more painful than anything. So he collided directly into that minivan. He could not stop. He was going only 30 miles an hour, but she was going pretty fast trying to turn. And so he hit her, but it was her fault because she shouldn't have gone. You know what I mean? So the police report says that she is 100% at fault. If you would have looked at her minivan got totaled as well as my son's motorcycle got totaled. And so I didn't know any of this until after the fact. So I was wondering, like, why is he taking so long? Usually he's home, or usually say, what's for dinner? Is it Postmates tonight? This guy loves Postmates, right? And so
he's that age bracket. They all love Postmates. Oh my God.
So, and all of a sudden, like at 7 o'clock, I get a call from the social worker stating that your son is here at Cedar Sinai. I just want to let you know he can talk. He's able to talk. I talked to him. He told me to call his mom. And she goes, and I'll let you know what happens. And I go, well, what do you mean? What happened? She goes, he was in a motorcycle accident. That's all I know. And I said, okay. So then I started making calls to our family. And then I waited. I waited on the phone. I said, can I come there? Of course I couldn't come there because of COVID. And so I waited and waited. Then finally Andy called me and he said, Mom, I was in an accident. A minivan hit me. Collided into me. And I said, okay. And I go, what's going on? He goes, I don't know, Mom. They're going to do a CT on me, and they think my pelvis broke, but I don't think so, Mom. But I'll see you in a little while. And then I hear the nurse say, in a little while, you're not going anywhere, right? I'm like, okay. So I'm like, okay.
So that's when you knew.
Well,
That's
I
when
kind of
you
knew, but yet I didn't know. So I'm waiting by the phone, waiting. 3 hours later comes by. It's still February 1st. 3 hours later comes by. I call and I look for my son. And then they told me he was in ICU. And that's when I just kind of lost it, you know, because I'm like, ICU, like from emergency to ICU? Like, what the hell, right? And I was talking to the nurse, and I mean, I'm holding back because I don't want them to hear that I'm crying because I can't speak if you're crying, right? And then they said, let me get you to the doctor. Let me have you talk to the doctor. And so then the doctor spoke to me and said that he fractured his pelvis and that he needs to be, his right pelvis, he needs to be operated on, and they're going to put a plate on the front and the back and put rods and screws in him. And then he said he fractured his hand, his right hand, really bad. And we're gonna check into that as well, right? His right hand. And then they said that, well, I didn't know about the staples on his head, but he had like 20 staples on his head, thick staples, not little staples, but because his visor, his motorcycle visor, went into his head. So I then, then I'm waiting. So all night, I made sure I took a shower just in case I had to go there, because this is what the doctor said. If you go south, we'll call you. I'm like, okay, if you go south, what the hell does that mean? If you go south, I knew what it meant, but like, why would a doctor say that? Right? Because I told him I was just right down the street.
No.
Yeah.
No. Wrong choice of words.
Well, so at that moment, like I said, I felt like, oh my God, here's my son, and I can't even go to him. I can't even help him, you know? And it was the worst feeling that you ever can feel as a mom, you know? And so then I started putting it out there. I put it out to all my prayer angels. And I don't ever put anything on Facebook or anything about anything personal, really, because I didn't want, you know, a lot of people always ask for healing on Facebook or whatever, but I don't want, when you're asking somebody to heal somebody, you're literally going inside their body, sending them healing, but then you got to take it right back out. So that would have hurt him more than it would have helped him. Do you understand that? So I asked for prayers. I sent in my guides, working with his doctor healer guides. I did everything that I could, but I had to get myself out of this, oh my God, my poor son, because I knew that would affect him. So I had to be, okay, I know he's strong and he's going to make a good recovery. I had to put that out there, because if I'm feeling so sad for him, all that energy is going to go towards him. It's not going to help him. It's actually going to affect him more. So, and that's what I did. I had to change that. I mean, I stayed up probably all night. He had the surgery the next day. He was in there for 6 or 7 hours. Of course, because he's an adult, he's 26, they can't really tell you anything unless you have his permission because of the HIPAA laws, right? So I, of course, waiting for somebody to call, nobody calls. They could just tell you if he's out of it or not. You know what I mean?
Got it.
And so, yeah, it was awful. I mean, that part was probably the worst part, because, you know, he's still your kid no matter what, you know, and yeah, so, but it was really about, after he was done, I called the nurse, and they said everything went fine, but we'll have the doctors call you. I never had one doctor call me, okay? No doctors. Andy had to finally call me. And when he woke up and just told me he was in a lot of pain, but Mom, I'm okay. I said, okay, you know, and I mean, I didn't know really the severity of it until Andy told me the whole story. So I guess when the cops found him, they thought he was dead. Literally, he was dead. The doctors told him when he went to the hospital that he had a 5% chance of living. So when they took him in, his blood pressure was so low that they had to give him a blood transfusion. And that's what they were afraid, whether he was going to make it or not. So, I mean, and I didn't know this till after, You know what I mean? And I didn't see him until maybe 4 days later, and then he did the FaceTime. Oh my God, black eyes, stitch. He looked, it broke your heart. You seen him. He looked awful, you know? So,
oh my God. Oh
yeah,
my
so they
God.
told him that he wasn't going to be able to walk for 12 weeks, that he would need a wheelchair and to walk with a walker, and he had to have a special walker because remember his right hand was all messed up. So he couldn't, I mean, he couldn't put any pressure on his fingers. So he had to put his hand on the walker, and it was pretty awful, you know? I mean, I didn't know it until I had to pick him up. And then because he just didn't like the fact that they kept waking up every hour, and, you know, and my son is very ornery. He asks, I'm sure he bugged the crap out of those nurses, and, you know, he checked himself out 2 days earlier, this kid, right? Because he wanted to be home. So a week later, he decides to come home, and here I'm taking care of him. His dad's coming over to help him take him a bath, and, you know, but it was a lot of work, I have to say, to take care of. And he had some lower extremity problems because of the surgery, you know. And, you know, it was like I was awake. Every time I heard a noise, I would just get up and, you know, change the sheets, do whatever I had to do, because it was, you know, I would say the first week was pretty bad. And then as time went on, I kept saying, like, you know, life doesn't stop, Andrew, because you're laying there. You're going to have to get up. You got to walk. You got to go get up, go pee, because you have to start moving, you know. And when you check, so a rule of thumb, when you check out of the hospital, when you want to, not when the doctors, they don't give you all the information that you really need because you're checking yourself out.
No.
So, yeah, so we didn't know about the physical therapy. They didn't tell you anything because he left before doctors ordered it. So, yeah, he just started physical therapy last week, actually. But so you guys know that Andrew is walking, and all the doctors are amazed how he can walk. He's not walking with a wheelchair, not with a walker. I mean, he doesn't walk like us normally, the way that we're walking, but he is walking. It is painful, but he's kind of he's going to have to get his body used to it. His hand, I mean, his hand has stitches everywhere you can ever imagine. They had to work on his middle finger because of his tendons, so they had to reoperate that one. Yeah, well, yeah, so they had to go in there and move all the tendons and make sure that everything was right. So he has stitches on his whole hand, but it's healing. They're even surprised how well it's healing. So he doesn't even have a cast on it anymore. He's walking. He doesn't use his walker, and he's doing his physical therapist. But the physical therapist said, "How in the world are you walking?" You know. But I guess when they told my son he had to use the wheelchair for 12 weeks, he's saying, "No way, I'm not doing that." You know, I can't. And he's hyper like me, so he's not one to sit there. You know. So he's in Washington D.C. right now. So on a business trip. Okay, and again, this happened almost what. He got out of the hospital February 6th, I believe. So it's only 2 weeks later that this kid is traveling again. So pretty amazing. You know, he's pretty amazing. So, you know, I'm very proud of him, but I keep telling him, don't push yourself, you know, but he's very cold now. I guess when you have plates in, he's very cold, and Washington, D.C. is not the right place to go at the right time. Right now, it's too cold. It's snowing.
With these plates in, yeah.
It's like, you know, I go, hey, Andrew, how long are you going to go? Mom, I'm going to go 5 days. I'm sightseeing. He doesn't even want to go sightseeing because it's too damn cold. You know, we're Californians. Hello, right?
Yeah, and plus we've got these plates in. Like the plates are gonna stiffen up with your bones. Like it's all like a part of you now. So,
yeah, so
wait before we go to cold weather.
Yeah, so I think the only thing that he had to really learn how to walk again, basically, because of his pelvis, you know. But he forced himself and he pushed himself, but also, I mean, he's just really tired. Like he gets really tired, and I keep trying to explain to him that your body went through a traumatic experience.
It's normal. It's
Yes.
normal to be tired.
Yeah, I said, so you have, because
Oh
I don't
my God,
understand it. I'm like,
26.
oh my God, this kid, he's 26 going on 80, okay?
26. You can't understand it.
No, no.
Listen to me. I when you told me what happened to your son, I want you to hear the first thing I heard.
Okay.
That if you had a bank of spiritual debt and you were holding on to that bank because you had helped so many people,
Mm,
it was cashed out. It ain't empty,
right,
but you cashed that spiritual bank for your
right,
baby.
right, right.
That's why, it helps. And this isn't for everyone. Like, God has different reasons for everything that he does,
Mm,
right? So I'm not saying anything bad against any other scenario. I'm just talking about
right,
your scenario.
right, right, right.
And I'm talking about the constant giving, constant, look, constant. People
Yeah,
learning from you, people changing because of you, constant giving.
right.
And can't even take a compliment because you're so concerned that if you took a compliment, you're taking something from God.
I'm just not a, yeah, yeah.
And
I don't,
and your spirits know this. They already know. On top of, I do believe he's got some special spirits of his own that was like, we doing this still. We staying here, we doing this.
yeah.
So
Well, you know what? I think
I
that one thing that he knew is that he says, Mom, if they want it, if honestly, Mom, I know, because he went to look at his motorcycle and it was mutilated. And he said, when he's seen that, he goes, I guess they have there's more work that I have to do here, Mom. And that alone was big enough, so.
I think that's the best way to say it. There's more work to do.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the best way to say it.
yeah, yeah,
There's more work to do.
yeah.
And that, I respect, like, Deborah, I respect the spiritual world. They are amazing. I think everyone that's just finding this world, like, your story is a testimony for others, for me. Like, there are no accidents. Like, I just want to cry because, like, people don't seem to understand, like, when you do good and when you need it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine all the beings that were around him
Right.
in the hospital when you couldn't be there?
Right. Not at all. I could not be there at all. That was crazy. But he had a lot of angels
But
and
somebody was there.
a lot more people
I
than
feel like
somebody.
there was an archangel there. I feel like there was somebody very, very, several, because there's different levels of all of them. But there was
Right.
somebody really big, like, it was never gonna happen.
No.
And
Yeah.
and clearly it was like healed. And
Yeah.
thank God your son, you've helped, but knowing you, and so everyone else knows, when you have a gift that you're invested in, right? Your children have the same gift. Whether how they use it is not our problem. But
Right.
when you have a gift that you're invested in, it's very easy for you that know about the gift to raise up a gifted child. Very easy.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
he knows.
Oh yeah. Well,
He knows
both
his
of my kids are
own
very
gift.
intuitive.
Whether
Yeah.
he uses it or not, it's not my problem.
Right.
I'm not surprised.
Oh no, he knows how to.
But
He
when
reads
he
people
said there's
very well.
something,
That kid. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter does
that's
too.
what I'm trying to say. But I also think if you don't, I don't mean to give you or your son a reading by no means, but just let me know how right I was later, because I will be right. When he said, I guess there's something else for me to do, I really feel like he's going to walk into that emphatic space of knowing, and raising up that particular gift, whatever it is.
Mm.
Because he's young enough to throw it out the ballpark now. And you
Yeah.
know what I love, right? Okay. Did you ever have a near-death experience?
Me? No. No.
Never. Not even as a child.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Is your mom still living?
Yep. Sure.
Ask her. Ask her.
Well,
Because most, go ahead.
most people have it. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
unless we were in a car
most
accident.
people have a near-death experience.
Well, I mean, it all depends, but I don't feel like I did really. I mean, nothing like, oh my God. Like Andrew, this is the second one. Like, hello, knock on wood. Hello, wake up. It's time to wake up, buddy. You know, like, you know, but for me, I've never, I mean, I don't want to say never, but nothing has really ever affected me.
Ask your mom. I know I almost died as a child.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is my asthma attacks, because when I was young, I had pretty bad asthma attacks, but never where they had an ambulance had to pick me up or anything like that, you know. So yes, but again, you know, when you have, from what I understand, a lot of people have near-death experiences. They actually, there's a power over them that, not that they're these powerful people, but all of a sudden your intuition gets a little stronger because now you're able to feel things, right? And so, and so you're able to, like, your psychic powers, so to speak, are even stronger, you know? So you have all those senses, so to speak, you know? So, but for me, I can almost tell you, I've never had, I know I never had a near-death experience. For me, it was maybe my near-death experience was coming, I mean, when my husband came out of the closet, and it was for me because I thought I was going to be married for life. And I mean, I had my family, I haven't done anything right. And so maybe that was my near-death experience, because I had to learn how to relive. Right? So maybe that was what it was.
I like that.
You know,
I like that. Well,
you know, I mean, we never really know, right?
Your rebirth came.
Yeah, I had to, because I had to learn.
You literally were rebirthed at that experience.
Yeah. I mean, take it for granted, I gave everything up for my kids. Everything was for my kids, no matter what. And still to this day, hello.
I got you.
You know, you do everything for your kids, and I still do everything for my kids, you know. Like I said, when I was with my son, I mean, I can give a little bit more information, but he had problems with his lower extremities as a male. And if you could put your two fists together, that was how big everything was. And I seen everything. I thought I was done seeing everything since my son was a little kid. But I mean, it didn't matter. You know, he needed help, so I had to help him no matter what, you know. And you know, he said,
did leave 2 days early.
Yes,
you weren't supposed to see it.
It's kind of like
nurses to do it.
Yeah, I said, oh my God. And he goes, well, Mom, I can get a personal assistant to do it. No personal assistant's going to do the stuff that I do for you.
No.
Okay?
No. Let me finish what got started. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're looking at the grown version of everything now. Thank you. Let me finish this.
I mean, I said, I try not to look, man. I try not to, but you just couldn't help it. But, you know, and when he was so honoring, because, Mom, I need this. Boy, I wanted to kick him there. If I could have, I would have kicked him.
But to me, that's beautiful. To get mad at your son, that's alive. It's beautiful.
It was like, oh my God.
Get annoyed by your son because he's here. Bravo.
Yeah.
The two of you. Good. Normal reaction.
I said, you should have stayed in the hospital 2 days longer. They took every care of you for everything.
If he didn't have stitches, you should have knocked him in his head. You dummy. That's what I would have said to my son. In my mind, I would have been like, dummy.
Oh my God. I think I said worse than that.
I would have been like, hey, babe, how you doing?
Yeah,
but in my mind, it would have been like, dummy.
That was me, 100%. That's a mother's instinct in the way that we are. You're thinking like, and he goes, and then he kept apologizing. Mom, I'm so sorry. I said, Andrew, that's okay. That's why I'm here. That's okay.
And then you walk away and you go, I saw everything.
2 hours
God,
sleep.
you're taking the food tray away. Yeah, I got you.
2 hours sleep, 3 hours. I even fed him in bed, like, and he makes fun of it now. But you know, I did everything for this kid. You know, so bless his heart.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I can't even imagine not doing everything. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
That's love. That's
of course.
And that's why they're here. They're here to take advantage of us. Whether it's, but you know what, your son, listen to this. When you needed something, your son said, "Ma, get over here, accept the concierge service.
Yeah.
They can park your car, Mom." Like, you had a son that was like, "Get over here."
Yeah.
It's a Hakuna Matata. So when something happened to him, why wouldn't you be there for him? You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, we've always been close. You know, I mean, I used to have to kick him out of my room.
Always.
We used to talk to me in the room. I'd have to pretend I'm taking my shirt off so he would leave the room.
Yeah.
So to this day, when I was there, he would always stay in my room.
Baby, I got no dress.
Yeah. So we're close. So, but you know, it doesn't mean that. And I have his dog right now because he can't walk his dog. The dog is rolling in the background.
We actually see the dog in the background. Point the camera a little bit to the dog. We see him rubbing his back there. What's his name?
Wait, that's Cash. Let me see.
Yeah. What's it? Cash?
He don't care. He's just laying there.
Deborah?
What was that?
Deborah, that was my dog's name.
Cash?
Her name was Kashmir.
Oh, but we call him, because, you know, my son is all about money, right? So Andy calls him Cash, but Ashley, my daughter, calls him Cashew. So I always call him Cashew, and he's a trip, so he's a lot of fun. You know, but he's a lot of fun. Really,
I got a very, when I came to Hollywood, I was like, I'm gonna be all Hollywood. It got me a very expensive Pomeranian, like this big. Like, she didn't grow very much, and I called her Cash for the same reason. Right. Never brought me a fucking dime. Cost me so much money.
Oh my God!
It's like, oh, you gonna name me Cash? Wait.
Cash went through a lot with Andrew, so, but you know, when I was there, Cash is always with me, you know, so who takes care of the mom takes care of the animal, right? So,
oh my God,
so he can't walk really, Cash. I mean, he wasn't walking, we had walkers, but I would walk Cash at 5 in the morning every morning. But he can't, it's too much for Andrew to walk. You never know, right? So when Andy's in Washington, I'm watching the dog. So Cash is my buddy right now. So he's always my buddy. He's going to miss me when I'm not there. So, but I love all animals. So I love animals, kids and animals. So if you have kids, bring them on over. Okay. But pick them up.
Yeah.
So
I get annoyed by kids, but I see the humor, you know, when they look up at you and they talk to you, and I go, so, and you ask them a question and they answer in the weirdest kind of way, and you go, huh, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you? Yeah, they're cute. They're trip.
Did he have a grandfather who passed over? Alexi is saying she saw his grandfather there wearing a hat.
Yes. Well, it would be his great grandfather, and that would definitely be my grandfather on his father's side.
Got it.
Yes.
Oh, look at you, Alexi. Thank you for providing that. That was nice. Yeah.
He did wear a hat.
All right, sweetie. Look at Alexi. Thank you, sweetie. By the way, my people are all spiritual people. Different degrees of it, but definitely gifted.
Right.
You know. Right. You know, they will come, they will find you. Like Right. Deborah.
Yes.
Oh, she goes, I am psychic. She goes, I'm psychic, Tracy. I'm psychic.
There you go.
You know, I don't know who's psychic in the group. I just know that we're all spiritual. And so thank you, Alexi. So Tiffany says, I'm so glad you came on the show.
Oh, hi, Tiffany.
She also says, I think the dog is cute.
Yes. Cash.
Yeah. Red Roses says, divorce became a life-changing experience. Nothing better than knowing I can do this. I'm worth it. So true.
That's right. Yeah, 100%.
I guess two people are talking. Bori Snow, which is actually someone named Gio Valentine in another podcast, and at Clean Chris. I guess they're talking to each other, and it's like I was thinking Archangel Michael too.
Right.
And I'm not psychic that way, but she is an astrologer. And she goes, I'm glad you oh, yeah, because I saw something in the corner. Thank you, Gio. Yeah. And Archangel Clean Chris says, Archangel Michael and the ancestors was with him. Blessings and healing, prayer sending your way.
Oh, thank you.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
That is so beautiful. Good people here. Good people. I have good people around. I have the greatest people around me. They let me curse at them. They let me yell at them.
You yell at them?
I have full meltdowns. Wow. I yell at them.
Then you're real. You're real. You know? Yeah. You're not acting. Damn, you're real.
Not an act. It's hilarious. No, it's hilarious. Like I was yelling at a lot of my clients on a Lady Gaga video, and I was so embarrassed that I was like, I can't watch that video. And then everybody's calling me, and they're like, no, you were supposed to yell at people. People are insensitive. We're so glad you did it. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, okay. I'm so afraid that I just crossed a boundary. Like finally she went off the hinges, and people are like, no. But I'm gonna stop yelling at people because I'm actually happier now, because I was more upset with the administration for 4 years. And that really affected who I was.
It did for a lot of people.
Yeah. And so, hopefully a better person will come through. Deborah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming in. Let me just get somebody put both our. Thank you for coming in. Go to Deborah to book your own personal reading, people.
Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany's amazing. Let me put my stuff up there.
She did. She just did.
Welcome. Yeah, DeborahHookie.com for a spiritual medium plus psychic effervescent reading. TraceyBrown.com for your own personal reading. Listen to me, people. It's very important. Deborah and I were talking about giving back. When we do our readings, it's part of like our job to take care of you. That's what we do to give back. I need help. Deborah, I'm sorry. We need to free Brittany. I got free Brittany herbs and oil. All you need to provide is a candle, and I'm adding an extra bean and rice bag that I'm going to tell you what to do. This is Blockbuster, this is Road Opener, and this is Boulder Busting. All right? No joke.
Who's free Brittany?
Brittany, go to TraceyBrownlive.com. Britney Spears.
Oh, free Brittany.
Yeah.
I was like, Britney Spears.
You've been busy.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. I was following her on Instagram. I was following her, but it's a little different. She's a little different, a very extraordinary. I mean, she's a little different. So I didn't want to see her.
I actually think she's one of us. I think she's a fairy. So she's talking fairy language. You know what I mean? And unless you know this, then you're like, what is happening? And then I realized she's talking fairy language, and she's looking only for people that can understand her, which is hilarious, right? But there was a documentary that just came out that
Mm.
really shows that she's truly capable of making better decisions rather than her dad
Oh, I
own
agree.
her millions and make her work like a workhorse.
Right, I
So,
agree.
with that being said, and the media really annihilated her. Justin Timberlake he built his career on her back. Howard Stern is now backtracking. I mean, it's ridiculous. But there are
Right,
so many celebrities that are now on board, and so I've always been a part of the Free Britney movement from a
right.
psychic's perspective. Listen, they always text me. It's always Twitter, and they go, Tracy, she's going to court on Saturday. And depending upon spirit, which they don't know, I
Mhm.
can do the reading or I can't.
Right,
But they don't know this, but I don't owe it to them to tell them.
right.
So when they ask me, I just don't answer because then spirit goes, nope, no. And this has
Right,
been going on for like 2 or 3 years. And
right.
then I would all of a sudden do a reading on Britney, right? And then, I just feel like I'm part of the whole, Free Britney movement. And so now I took it to another level. I'm like, listen, there's a way to free her.
That's funny.
I
That's
have
funny.
the ingredients. She
Right.
won't lose now. She won't lose now. If
Didn't
I'm
she
on
win?
it,
I thought she won.
no. That's okay. You've been busy. No.
Okay, I've been busy. Just like Cash is just laying there.
Yes! How cute is that?
Nice.
That dog has been on his back the whole time. That is so cute.
He just wants somebody to rub his belly. But yeah.
Oh, look at him. He's leaning on your chair now. What type of dog is that?
I think he's a mix with a pit bull, but he's like the sweetest dog. At that apartment, they were all intimidated by him because he lunges at the other dog, but all he wants to do is lick him. So people take it. He's very intimidating because he's a pretty big dog, but he's a lovable dog. He doesn't do anything.
He looks like a greyhound mix with Pit.
No, it's a special name, but he's mixed. But his ears are really cute. But he's a very sweet dog. He's a nice dog.
It's not Doberman mix even?
No,
because Doberman has a smaller snout. Well,
yeah.
listen, my dog Cash looked like a gorgeous little angel, just adorable, until another dog came along and she wanted to fuck that dog up. And people would be like, oh my God. And I'm like, you're not supposed to just bring your dog to me. Like, we're not supposed to just be friends, people. I'm not that way. My dog was exactly like me. I look nice.
But you better watch it. I know.
My dog was my twin. And by the way, the dog wasn't mine either. It was my son's. I had two of them. They belonged to me.
Oh my God. Isn't that how it is? Those kids bring all those animals home and yeah.
No, my son left the house and was like, see you, Mom. Enjoy your life. And I was like, hey, dogs, it's you and us.
That's funny.
Children, what they do. All right, honey, get going.
All right.
Get going.
Thank you guys.
DeborahHookie.com. Take her classes.
Hey, I have a guides workshop coming up. I have a guides workshop. If you guys are interested in learning about your spirit guides, there's a special for this weekend if you sign up, but it's for March, end of March, I think. So if you're interested, go to my website. It's on there for the spirit guides.
When
it's March.
Don't you have one tomorrow?
Oh, I have. If you want to see a mediumship demonstration, everybody gets a message. It's tomorrow I believe it's at 5 o'clock tomorrow. You can buy tickets online on my website. Also, it's at www.deborahhookie.com.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it'll be tomorrow night. So it's at 5 o'clock. So for people back east, it's not too late. It's just about 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, depends on where you're at.
Yeah, and it's a group psychic medium where whoever joins in a Zoom, you can get someone to come through.
Yeah, definitely. I really never had a problem, but everybody gets a message no matter how many people come. So it's a beautiful experience. It's just about healing. And just because maybe somebody's mom comes in and you get a message, you're going, God, that sounds like it's for me. You just take that message because it's for you. So it's really beautiful. And I enjoy it. I'm like shocked sometimes at what I say because my guides are like, they're on, man. They're awesome. So I couldn't do this work without my guides. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
So,
and what's happening in March? One more time.
It's end of March. It's a guides workshop. So I teach you how to work with your guides and how to meet your guides, basically. It'll be on Zoom, and it's just a beautiful, it's really knowing that you have help. You're not only the only one who has to help yourself. Like, you really have the spiritual community that is helping you. And these are your guides on the other side. So, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. Like for me, I mean, I can talk about my guides because I know it really works, because they've done a lot of amazing things for me when I'm sick or for other people. It's just, and to help you in your life. It's like, it's not only just for your spiritual life, it's for your whole life. That's how great it is. So, you know, if you know, it's kind of, and you have different guides for different things, and it's just an awesome thing. So, you know, why wouldn't you want help from others when you can get it, right? And so, and they're your
know
own
that they are
guides.
there. Know that they are there, because I also think you're a good example of your spirit and your guides rushing over to your son along with his own spiritual beings.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I'll reach out to you, March, and I'll advertise every day.
I did put a special. If you guys want to sign up for this weekend, there's a special. It's online. You can go to my website, and then the prices are different prices for different times. But just check it out, and if you have any questions, you can always email me. Okay.
Let me add, Deborah, that I have sent people to the group session that you're having tomorrow. I have sent people, and they all come out satisfied.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to go in a group Zoom and get a message from someone that's passed over. It's so healing.
It is. It really is.
And thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for what you do, Tracy.
You are amazing.
Yes. So cute.
Girl, I'm about to do more. You're gonna have to come on board, because I want a whole elevated retreat, you know, and I want you part of the leaders.
My son just bought some property in Hawaii. We'll have to talk about that later. Yes. So in Hilo.
We might have to talk about that. Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate everybody. Love you guys. And thanks for allowing me to be in your life. I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye, Deborah.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. I don't know how to end it, but I'll figure it out.
I'll remove you. Bye, everyone.